Hi guys, Paul here with Patek Photography and Gear Reviews. In this video I'm going to share with you the results of my upgrade to the Tascam DR-60 Mark II and the Audio Technica AT875R shotgun microphone. So if you're a YouTuber like I am, or you're doing video production of some description and you're thinking about upgrading your audio, this is probably the video for you. Let's get into it. Okay, so we're going to start off today by talking about my journey with audio through making YouTube videos. And so way back when, I started off real simple with the first microphone that I ever used and just ran directly to my camera, which was probably a Nikon D3300 at the time, is this little lavalier mic, which is the Audio Technica R3350. And, you know, just a battery operated 3.5 millimeter plug-in, and it did the job. Really inexpensive, probably paid 25 bucks for it, or maybe even less at the time, I can't remember. And then I stumbled onto this next little guy, which was, this is the original H2 Zoom. And this is a great microphone for just sitting on your desk because you can plug it in by a mini B USB cable, plug it into your laptop, and get much better audio from this guy than you will ever get from the microphone that's built into a laptop. And then, when I started coming into this kind of a studio environment, and I was doing camera bag reviews and all kinds of different product reviews, then I wanted to go to a shotgun microphone. And so the first one that I got was the SMX10, and this is an ASDEN microphone. And because of the recent upgrades that I've made, this microphone has actually come back into the fold, because in the event that my newest microphone, which is the AT875R, ever died on me, I'd be able to swap this one out and get some pretty clean audio, and I'll show you how and why I've done that. But so the SMX10 has been, it's not an XLR microphone, it's 3.5 millimeter, so it has its limitations. And, when I started with it, it was fine. But I'm just at the point now where when I'm doing audio, I want to eliminate all the line noise. And that's what, when I say line noise, when you're using this 3.5 millimeter cable, the biggest difference when you switch to XLR is instead of one wire and just the insulation on this wire, you've got 3 wires with XLR. And so going to the AT875R, you can eliminate all of that line noise, and the difference is just night and day. And you'll hear it in the audio. That's what I'm recording with right now, by the way. The next thing that I tried to help out the SMX10, because it required a bit of gain for sure to get it recording properly, was the Saramonic. And this thing is actually works pretty good. Okay, I can use the Saramonic with my SMX10. I can use it with the Deity D3 Pro, and it does the job, but it's not as good as an XLR microphone going through a proper preamp. And that's the key, is not only did I purchase an Audio Technica AT875R, but I also purchased the the Tascam DR-60 Mark II. And that's the preamp that I'm using right now. I'm going to show you this setup because I think you'll find it kind of interesting. And then I guess when I got tired of the SMX10 and I heard about the Deity D3 Pro, I switched to this microphone, and it's great for on camera. It's a really good quality microphone, but in all the testing I've done, I haven't been able to get it to work properly with the Tascam. I plug it in and I get all kinds of line level noise. And I've turned the gain on this thing down, I've turned it up, I've tried different cables, so I really can't use this with the new Tascam, but it's a great microphone for sure. And then there's times where, I might want to use the Rode Micro if I just want a microphone to stuff on my camera. I want better, and I want something that's compact. Then I'll pull out the little Rode microphone. So this is, basically where I started, right? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now I'm using the Audio Technica AT875R going through a Tascam 60D Mark II. And, I couldn't be happier. Now, the reason I'm sharing this with you is that if you want to switch to consumer grade condenser mics or whatever you're using currently, and you want to go to Pro XLR, then, I would say the AT875R and the Tascam preamp is probably the cheapest that you can get away with. I mean, you may get away with a little bit less expense, something that's a little cheaper, but I don't know if you'd get the same quality. And I am not an audio engineer by any means. If you want, professional audio advice, I would say take a look at Curtis Judd's channel. He's an audio fanatic, and I've even asked him for advice at different times. So that's my setup. Okay, you can clearly hear the quality of the audio that's coming through this new microphone. And I'm going to show you the studio. If you haven't seen my videos before, you're talking about 9 feet from wall to wall. And it's only 11 feet this way. So what did I do to improve my audio besides just, buying some new equipment and spending some money? Well, I spent a little bit of money on moving blankets, because I looked into, I forget the name of the company in the US. I'll put a link in the description, but they have pro-level sound blankets. And the issue for me was they wanted $125 for 2 sound blankets, and they want $130 to ship them here north of Toronto. And, so then I thought, for $100, I was able to get 5 moving blankets that are about 6 feet by 6 feet. And that has made a huge difference. So I have one behind the camera, one on either side, and then I have one on the floor behind me, and I have the other one on the table here. So basically what I've done is I draped the audio blanket over the table, and then I put this wood tabletop on top, and it's doing a terrific job at just killing the echo in the room and the room noise. And you'll notice that when I show you the examples of the audio, the room noise with this microphone is gone. I would say with this microphone going through the Tascam, the room noise is gone. And that's, with doing a little bit of work in Adobe Audition. But what I've noticed is with the AT875R, I don't need to go through Adobe Audition. I've solved all of the problems that I wanted to solve. Like, my voice has a bit of sibilance in it. And I found that when I was recording with the Deity, for sure, it's irritating to listen to. I don't even like it. And so I wanted to get a little bit more bass in my voice. I wanted to get the sibilance down. I want to clean up all the problems that I had in the past and just make it as easy to listen to as it should be. Because, there's nothing worse when you're watching a YouTube video and you hear one where the microphone sounds like it's in a tunnel or it sounds like it's underwater. You're just going to click away. And so that's what this video is all about. You're going to see the audio with the different versions that I've tried, and then you can judge for yourself whether this is a setup that you want to adopt. Okay, so let's start off. The first thing I want to do is, I neglected to mention one of the other microphones that I use all the time is the Azden Pro XD. This is a lab mic setup. The battery is internal to it, and it's a great system, and I use these to this day. And in fact, I use them quite a bit when I need to, but the whole idea of adopting the AT875, which is what I've got overhead here, so I'm doing a camera bag review. I don't have this on my shirt. I'm not scuffing up against it, and you don't have those kind of interferences, and you just get a better audio experience. So the first comparison I think that it would be fair to do, showing you the, this lav mic from, this thing's got to be like 20 years old. It would be a waste of time. The H2 Zoom, it's, this thing plugs into a laptop. So I can point out some videos on my channel where I've been using the H2 Zoom if you want to hear what that sounds like. But the microphone that I'm going to compare to, this is likely if you went out and bought a cheap a microphone like the Azden SMX10 and 3.5 millimeter. I'll show you an example of what this sounds like going directly to my A7 III and then going directly into the Tascam. It's a huge difference. So I think this would be a fair comparison to kind of step up to where I am at this point. The deity, I can give you an example of the deity mounted on the camera if you want, so you can see what that's like. And you'll just see how the room noise increases with this or with this one here. And you know, you need a tremendous amount of gain if you're not going through the Tascam with the ASDAN microphone. And you'll see what a tremendous difference it makes when you're going through. And XLR cables, don't discount them, because that just eliminates a lot of the line noise. In fact, it eliminates 100% of the line noise. It's just amazing the difference it makes going from, you know, a single 3.5 millimeter cable to an XLR cable. So let's start our test with the ASDAN SMX10, not going through the Tascam, and we can see what it sounds like. Okay, so this is the SMX10. Going directly to my Sony a7 III. The Tascam is completely out of the picture, and I think you could probably tell by the room noise how bad this is, or the lack of gain. And you know, my voice has a lot of sibilance in it, and so that's the ps, ps, ps sound. So you know, you could take this track into Audition and use a de-esser on it and do all kinds of fancy things to it, but I'm trying to get an audio track, you know, shoot it once, record it once, not spend a lot of unnecessary time in Audition if I don't need to. And so this is the SMX10 with no preamp. Okay, so we're in Adobe Audition. This is the track for the SMX10. This is right out of the Tascam, by the way. And so usually what I do is I'll come up here to favorites. I'm going to go to normalize to minus 0.1 dB. And what that'll do is it'll increase the loudness level of the track. So we'll do that, and you can see a dramatic difference right away. Okay, so you just saw my workflow in Adobe Audition. But what you'll also notice here, you can hear the background noise, the hissing, and all that, you know, good stuff. So the next thing that I would do is probably come over here to the effects rack, and let's do some noise reduction and adaptive noise reduction. I'll just click OK, and then click here, and I'll apply this. Takes a second for it to render, and now you can see the difference here. Like, I keep saying you can see, you can hear the difference here. But all that hissing and background noise is gone. And then when you listen to the audio part, okay, so you just saw my workflow in Adobe Audition. It's cleaned it up dramatically. So usually my next step would be to just get rid of this, get rid of all this extra stuff in here that we don't need. I know some of you guys are screaming, oh my God, you're not going to be able to sync it. But just hang on, we'll see. Okay, so the only other thing from listening. Okay, so you just saw my workflow in Adobe Audition with the SMX10. It might be nice if there was just a touch more bass. So let's see if we can find simple bass lift. Let's try that. So it's taken the bass and jacked it up a little bit. You can see these toggles have gone from 0 up to 5, you know, 5, 4, 3, whatever it is there. And so let's see, let's apply that. Okay, so you just saw my workflow in Adobe Audition with the SMX10 going through the Tascam. And so now you have an idea of how much. That's pretty darn good right there. So what I'm going to do is just come here to File, and I'll save it. So now 0029, the SMX10 track is saved, and I'm going to combine it with the video track now, and you'll hear that in the next clip that you're going to be looking at. Okay, so you just saw my workflow in Adobe Audition with the SMX10 going through the Tascam. And so now you have an idea of how much extra effort you're going to have to do in Adobe Audition, or in post-production, if you will. And now what you're looking at is the final export from Audition synced up with the video and being used in this clip here. I think the output is pretty darn good. Whether I'd run out and buy an SMX10 microphone at this point in the game, I would say no. There's probably a lot better microphones that you could spend your money on for sure. Get something that's a lot quieter, just has a better audio quality for sure from a shotgun microphone. But I'm just kind of blathering on here so you can see what the audio is like. But it gets rid of a lot of the room noise, the reverberance. Audition, you know, you put loudness on it, or sorry, normalize the audio to -1 dB, and then maybe put some compression on it, a de-esser, things like that, and you can get a pretty darn good quality audio. So again, it's just a matter of how much time you want to spend in post-production. Okay, to keep things realistic for you, I thought what I would do is I would just give you a quick look at my actual studio. So, you know, behind the camera. And so you can see the sound blankets, right? The green screen in behind. There's another sound blanket behind the camera. But the really interesting part now, we're going to take a look at what I have over here and how I've set all this up and how I shoot this clip. So let's do that now. Okay, so this will just be a quick behind the scenes part 2. You know, this is my main workstation here. I've got my DIY FOBA stand that I built back in the spring. I'm able to mount the Tascam on a little slider here like so I can move this back across. I can move the arm. You know, I can reposition the camera. I can take it up and down, whatever I need to do. Pretty straightforward stuff, to be honest with you. I can lock it into place. And the beauty of this is that I can tilt the Tascam down so I can see the screen really easily. I've got the 875 boomed right overhead here and one of those scissor mounts. And then normally, this is a G85, but it would be my Sony A7 III. But just for example purposes, you get the idea how this works. This has been a great setup. I mean, I can't say enough about it. And as far as the audio goes, I mean, you can judge for yourself. I would say now between here and the mic here is probably 12 inches, not much more than that. And it's going through the Tascam. And oddly enough, the 875 is so good, I can take it into Audition, but I don't need to. Sometimes I'll just normalize it, maybe put a little de-esser on it, and then spit it out and take it into Camtasia from there. But yeah, great little setup here. Got the monitor hooked up. You know, what more could you ask for? Okay, so let's wrap up this little soiree into professional audio or semi-professional audio, depending on how you want to look at it. If you're on the fence about the Tascam DR-60 Mark II or the AT875R, don't be. Just go out and get it. It's great equipment. And, you know, certainly the Tascam, you're going to be able to use it with other microphones, as you saw in the video. And so it's a great piece of kit. Both items are rock solid. I haven't had any issues with them so far, other than, you know, the one issue with the Deity D3 Pro, but that's related to the Deity microphone, not getting it to work through the Tascam. But I highly recommend these two pieces of equipment. So I hope that helps you, showing the examples, showing you, you know, how I use it in my humble, small studio space here. So maybe if you're in an apartment and you're working out of a bedroom or a closet or whatever, you can relate. But that's going to wrap it up for this one, and I really appreciate it if you'll subscribe and like the video. That helps me bring more videos like this to you, and we'll see you in the next one. And as always, watch out for that COVID thing. It's not a joke. Get yourself vaccinated, and we'll all be living a freer society sooner. So that's my advice for the day, if you will. So take care. We'll see you soon.